Oh my, this is incredible. CD Projekt Red have just announced the release date for The Witcher 3 Next Gen Edition, as well as all the new and improved features the game is going to have. Now, honestly, this exceeds my expectations by miles. There's so much that's going to be in this, and for the game to be free, a free upgrade as well, is just crazy. Now, before we get into all the features this next-gen version is going to have, let me just fill you in if you didn't already know. Yesterday, CD Projekt Red released a pre-recorded live stream where they gave the release date for the game, they showed gameplay, they showed new quests, they showed new armor inspired by the Netflix show, as well as completely new features they're adding to this game. Now, at this point, there's no need at all to get the last gen versions of the game or even to get the base Game of the Year version for PC. Just wait for this new edition if you haven't paid for the game already. This is going to be the definitive way to play The Witcher 3, and it's so much of a step up compared to what we already have. And you can probably hear the excitement in my voice. You know, I'm a very emotional guy. If I'm very happy about something, you will hear it in my voice. If I'm very angry or sad about something, like, you're gonna hear it in my voice, mate. You know what I'm saying? So, without further ado, press the subscribe button if you're new to this channel and you want to catch more just like this. So, without further ado, let's get into this. So, to start off with, the next gen update for The Witcher 3 is going to release on all platforms on December 14th of this year. So, less than a month's time, we will have our hands on this update. Of course, if you already own The Witcher 3 on PC, on PS4, on Xbox One, etc., then you will get this upgrade for free. However, if you do not currently own the game on any platforms, the game will be available for you to buy. Of course, if you're a very sneaky boy or girl, then you can go online and you can get a really good deal for the game, and then you can get the upgrade for free when it comes out, and you might save a bit of money. So it's up to you whether you want to find the game very cheap now and then upgrade for free, or you want to hold out and buy the game full price when it comes out next month. So the developers mentioned that we'll be getting ray tracing. And now there is much more than just ray tracing, but even without the other additions that I'll go into soon, ray tracing really can add to the life of a game. Shadows, lighting is something that actually people don't realize it plays a major factor into, you know, graphical fidelity. Lighting, the way light bounces off certain things, reflections, all of that stuff really adds to almost trick the mind into believing something. So ray tracing, I think, is a really great addition here. Along with that, we have upgraded ambient inclusion, dynamic resolution scaling, new integration to DLSS, new SSR, which is screen space reflection, and more. So overall, the game is looking, and you can see right here, it's looking a lot prettier than what it was before. The Witcher 3 always was a gorgeous game, and it still holds up today, but this is just getting an old game and polishing it off and making it look good and just giving it to you with much more, so you can't really complain, can you? The game's textures are now completely overhauled as well. Don't expect the game to look completely different, but there are new textures, such as, for an example, in Novigrad, the streets are actually now cobbled rather than looking cobbled but being a flat texture. Now they're actually 3D. There's loads more foliage in the world, and a lot closer to what the original E3 trailer showed the game to be. If you're on PC, you'll also get access to a new graphical setting, which is Ultra Plus. I imagine this is going to be very similar to what The Witcher 2 had on PC. I think it was called Insane Mode or something like that, and it basically at the time pushed your PC to the limits and you had to have a really high-end PC to do it. Now, to show off your new shiny Ultra Plus graphics, we have a new photo mode. This is something a lot of people have been requesting for ages, so the fact that they finally brought it in, very similar to how they had with Cyberpunk, is a great addition. Now, here's the first big new improvement in actual gameplay. There's going to be new camera angles. Now, these new camera angles are a lot closer to Geralt and a lot more to the side, so they feel, I suppose, a lot more immersive. As you can see on screen, they're very different than the classic viewpoint in the game, and I think this is a great thing. Again, with all of these new features, you have the option to use these. They're not forcing you into this new viewpoint of the camera. They're not forcing you into anything. These options are in the settings. You can turn to classic camera mode, or you can turn to this new closer up angle. Personally, for me, I really liked it when you would walk around in buildings in The Witcher 3 and it would have that closer up angle. I really thought it was more immersive. Sometimes I'd even deliberately make myself be over encumbered so that I could walk around and have that closer angle in the world. So, and I know that sounds weird, but I am a weirdo. The fact that now we're having the option to have this more similar close up angle is very nice to me, in my opinion anyway. Now, you can switch these camera angles out, so maybe maybe when you're exploring the world on foot, you want a closer up angle to Geralt, but when you're riding on your horse Roach, you want more of a wide angle so you can see more of what's going on, so you can set that to be the classic angle. And then when you're in combat, you want it to be that closer up angle again, or vice versa, you want it to be the classic angle. You can mix and match these how you want in the settings menu. Now for console players, we're going to get performance mode and quality mode. Performance mode is going to have the ability to play the game at 60 FPS, while visuals will be slightly lesser than what they would be on quality mode. Now I do just want to say, just because performance mode won't look as good as quality mode, it's still going to be leagues above what the original Witcher 3 base game was. Now this one's for you PS5 players. CDPR have integrated haptic feedback with the Witcher 3 next gen update. Now haptic feedback's going to work really well within, of course, combat. Probably when you're riding your horse, you might feel the clatter, wait what? No, the galloping, whatever the description is of riding your horse, you know, the hooves. Also when you're using signs, you're going to get great haptic feedback on there, especially also when your Witcher medallion is humming, you're going to get that vibration in the controller, which is going to, again, immerse you even more into an already immersive game. Now the next feature they're adding to the next gen update is probably my most favorite feature that they've said, aside from the new quest, which we'll be getting into later in this video. This new feature is a new signs mode, and what I mean by that is, of course, when you're using your Witcher signs within the game, you hold down, I think it's LB, and you get that radio wheel of the different signs you can use. You have R, you have Axi, etc, etc. As you guys know, when you would go to this menu, the game would kind of slow down to slow motion, it would blur, and you get this radio wheel come up. This new feature is going to literally eliminate that radio menu wheel. Now again, this is optional within the settings whether you want this to apply to your game or not. And the way this is going to work is when in combat, for example, you'll still hold LB, the button for the Witcher signs, but instead of slowing down the game and coming up with a wheel, it will make use of A, X, Y, and B, and obviously on PlayStation, X, square, triangle, and circle. Gameplay on screen is showing just that, and I think this is something that is going to really improve combat overall. Next, we have new filters for the world map. As you probably remember, on the Witcher's world map, there was tons of question marks. Now, these question marks would lead you to small smugglers' caches, bandit camps, treasure troves, and more. Now, this new filter to the map enables you the option to basically hide these question marks so that you can just have a cleaner map, see what's going on, where you need to go, and not be just flooded with a ton of question marks. Again, an optional thing, it's a filter, it's just a welcome small addition. Now, in the live stream, the developers mentioned that they took a lot of inspiration from the HD reworked mod. This was a mod for last gen Witcher 3, obviously on PC. So I'm not sure whether they actually worked in conjunction of the spheres. No, I'm joking. I don't know if they actually worked in conjunction with the mod author for this, or they just looked at what the mod author did and thought, you know what, this is great, we're going to use this as inspiration. On screen right now, I'll show you guys some gameplay of the HD reworked project mod, because I actually have it on my version of The Witcher 3 on PC. You now have the option to sprint by holding or pushing L3 rather than holding the A button. Again, a welcome feature that people have wanted for a while. Next, we have scaling subtitles. Again, it's a much requested feature, and clearly they listened to what the fans wanted, and now you have the option to make subtitles a lot bigger if you're maybe further away from your screen or you're blind. It's all up to you. Again, more customization. Also, talking of subtitles, you now have the Chinese simplified dub and subtitles in the game. Now, there's going to be a lot of fixes to quests, notably the Wolf Armor Hunt quest. Those are the big fixes to quests, but as they said, there's going to be a lot of fixes across the board when it comes to questing. Now, here's one that should have been in the game when it came out, but for some reason wasn't, and that is pausing during cutscenes and pausing during conversation. It's just these quality of life fixes and features being added that I just think are great, and is going to make for new players coming in with a level of expectation based off games today that are going to be pleasantly surprised. Here's actually a funny anecdote from when I was first playing The Witcher 3 back when it came out in 2015. I had it on like the base Xbox One, and there was a lot of times where like I'd be watching a cutscene or I'd be doing like dialogue choices, but I couldn't pause it, and I'd have to go and do something, but some climatic thing was about to happen, and I was like, oh my god, I can't miss this, but I've got to go, I've got to leave the house. So what I'd do is I'd literally take the batteries out of my Xbox One controller, and it would pause the cutscene and say reconnect controller, and I'd just leave it at that and come back an hour later, and that was how I paused cutscenes. So it's really good that they're actually finally bringing in the option to properly be able to pause your game without having to do and, you know, resort to things like that. We love to see it. Now, here's another thing I'm really excited about, and that is the addition of a dynamic mini-map. So when you're exploring the world, you can have the option to turn your minimap off, but it doesn't just turn off the HUD, it makes the minimap disappear when you're exploring, having a fun time, getting lost in the world, and then you can apply your Witcher sense, you know, where you hold down LT to see what's going on, footprints and stuff like that, and then the map will reappear. Also, I would like to just add, they said they're going to be releasing patch notes just before the game comes out, so you can see everything added, you know, on paper, and maybe things they didn't mention in this stream. However, they did mention there are a few surprises that they haven't told us on this live stream, and they're just going to add at the bottom of patch notes plus surprises. So there's stuff we're going to see that they haven't mentioned yet, which could be new features, but I think personally might just be, again, a few quality of life fixes, because if they were big features that we would love to see, I just feel like they would have, you know, they would have talked about that in the live stream because they want to market their game based on the new stuff. Maybe a new player home or something. That would be really cool because that's something I loved with the Blood and Wine DLC. But I was always a bit disappointed that we could never have maybe a player home in Oxenfurt or a player home in Novigrad. So maybe they're just going to add more player homes to the different cities. That would actually make me just a very happy man. But again, it's unlikely. Now we're going to get into probably the big thing which you guys clicked for, and that is the new quest that's going to be in the Witcher 3 Next Gen update. They've added voice lines to the game. They brought back Doug Cockle to voice Geralt. They probably brought back some other voice actor people that we would recognize to record lines, so we actually have a proper quest related to these armors. Now, we don't know what this quest is going to be revolving around, but here is a bit of footage from the beginning of it. It's probably going to be like, oh, there was a collector that actually collected Geralt's armors from years before, and like Geralt finds them again. He's like, you know what, I actually want these armors back. So he goes on a little mission to find the armors, and he's like, oh yeah, this was from when I first met, you know, Ciri's parents. This is the one where we were hunting the dragon, you know what I mean? And he'll mention a few things from what was shown in the Netflix series, and again, that was in the books. Now, there's going to be a new Dandelion / Jaskier skin in the game, and it's going to be, of course, inspired by Jaskier in the Netflix series. Now, you can see on screen right now what he looks like, and honestly, mate, I think it's a cool thing they're doing, but I just get massive, like, I don't know if I should say this, but I can't just help but feel I'm talking to a massive offender when I see this. No, I don't think I can say that. He looks a bit sus. I don't know if I like my Dandelion to look like this. Give him back his beard. Anyway, there's also a new alternative look for all Nilfgaardians within the game. This is to give them the Netflix armor. Now, we know there's a lot of controversy around the Netflix Nilfgaardian armor. Some say it looks like creased, air-compressed clothes. I think it looks okay, but I do remember when the first season came out, I was like, it looks kind of weird, and it doesn't look as good as the game armor in my opinion. But again, you have the option to have the Netflix armor, and for me, when I have a new playthrough of the game, which I will be doing when this comes out, it just spices things up a little bit. It just changes things up, so I probably will put the alternate looks on these guards as well as Jaskier. And last but not least, there are now cross saves between all platforms. So there you have it. Those are all of the things we are going to have new and improved in the Witcher 3 Next Gen update. There was a ton of stuff that we got through today, and overall, I'm very impressed, honestly. I think this is a worthy update, and honestly, if you haven't bought the game before, it's worthy of your money, however much the update's going to be if you're buying it full price. A reminder though, if you already own the game, you're getting this update for free. I really love personally how these are new optional things you can do, but you don't have to if you don't want to, but the options are there. It's giving the player more freedom to play how they want to play. But as always, guys, let me know in the comments your thoughts on this. Do you think these are great? Do you think these are bad? Let's get a discussion going. I want to hear your thoughts, and let's build the community. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more to do with The Witcher 3 or other games in general, then let me know by pressing the subscribe button and pressing that like button so you don't miss a video when I do upload, and turning that bell notification on. I love you guys. May the Father of Understanding guide us. I will see you soon. Goodbye.